Good morning everyone. Tara magbasa tayo ng ating sariling history book. Kapwa ko Filipino, magbasa na tayo. History of the Filipino People by Agoncillo and Guerrero. Today is 16 April 2023. History of the Filipino People. Selected references. Nandito na tayo sa paragraph 20. Mabasa. Chapter 20. There is no definitive and authoritative history of the Commonwealth. Most of the works cited earlier also advert to the Commonwealth of the Philippines. Joseph R. Haydn's The Philippines: A Study in National Development and Friends Between Two Empires remain very useful for the delineation of the many problems of the Commonwealth. The 5-volume Messages of the President Manuel, Manila, 1938 to 1941, contain not only executive orders, proclamations, and laws enacted by the National Assembly but also Quezon's policy pronouncements. President Quezon submitted annual reports to the President and the Congress of the United States, Washington, 1935 to 1940, until he went into exile in 1942. Manuel L. Quezon's The Good Fight, previously cited, is a personal account of the Commonwealth. Use of these strict sources, however, should be balanced by other materials, as the highly optimistic statements of Quezon about the achievements of the Commonwealth and the Philippine situation are not actually supported by objective Philippine conditions during the period. The annual reports of the United States High Commissioner to the President of the United States, Washington, 1936 to 1940, provide an interesting and valuable comparison. The following are published official sources that contain valuable information on the economic problems of the Commonwealth and its relationship with the United States. Report of the Special Mission to the United States, 1938 to 1939, Manila, 1939. United States Tariff Commission's Report on United States-Philippine Trade, with a special reference to the Philippine Independence Act and other recent legislation, Washington, 1939. Summary of the report, America-Philippine Trade Relations, by the Technical Committee to the President of the President, 1944. The 4-volume report of May 20, 1938 by the Joint Preparatory Committee on Philippine Affairs is an excellent source despite numerous and repetitious briefs and expositions on the economic development and our independence of the Philippines upon the United States. Amado A. Castro's doctoral dissertation on the Philippine economy in the 1930s, The Philippines: A Study in Economic Dependence, Harvard, 1954, has since been made available in Xerox copy to students in the Philippines. It should be interesting to compare data gleaned from these sources with the Commonwealth's over large expectations in Sergio Osmeña's Economics Adjustment and Philippine Economy, Manila, 1941. Grant K. Goodman's Davao, A Case Study in Japanese-Philippine Relations, Kansas, 1967, explore a significant economic problem during the Commonwealth. That of a growing and influential Japanese community in the Philippines. Milagros C. Guerrero, yung isang author nito guys. Milagros C. Guerrero's A Survey of Japanese Trade and Investment in the Philippines, 1900 to 1941, Philippine Social Sciences and Humanities Review, March 1969, studies the different sectors of the economy that had been peacefully penetrated by Japanese traders and investors. Douglas MacArthur's Report on National Defense in the Philippines, Manila, 1936, discusses the preparations of the Commonwealth for an adequate national defense system. Chapter 21. Philippine progress in education under the Americans is discussed in Encarnacion Alazona's A History of Education in the Philippines, Manila, 1932. W. Cameron Forbes, The Philippine Islands, Boston and New York, 1928, Volume 1, and G. Ralston Hayden's The Philippines, A Study in National Development. Other aspects of the American occupation are also found in the last two books mentioned above and in Carrel A. Grander and William A. Lewis's The Philippines and the United States. Philippine progress in industry and trade is discussed in A. B. H. Hartendorf's History of Industry and Trade in the Philippines, Manila, 1958. Health improvement is discussed in Forbes and Hayden and in Victor Hisser's An American Doctor's Odyssey, New York, 1936. The Philippine census of 1903 and 1918 are important sources of information on social, educational, and economic aspects. The best guide on Filipino literature in English is Leopoldo Y. Yabes, Philippine Literature, 1898 to 1957. A Bibliography Survey, Quezon City, 1958. The American influence on the national language is discussed in Teodoro A. Agoncillo, The Development of the Tagalog Language and Literature, and in his draft of a work on the American influence on the Tagalog literature and language. Chapter 22. Hanggang chapter 30 lang to guys, kaya matatapos na natin to. Mabilis na to matapos. Chapter 22. There is a plethora of original sources on the Japanese occupation. Only the most salient, however, are indicated here. The best sources are easily the Occupation Tribune and the Official Journal of the Japanese Military Administration, Manila, 1942 to 1943, 13 volumes. Theodore Roosevelt's role in the Philippine Independence Program is found in Henry F. Pringle's Theodore Roosevelt Harvest Books, New York, 1956. General Douglas MacArthur's role is found in Francis Trevelyan Miller's General MacArthur, Philadelphia, 1945, and in Douglas MacArthur Reminiscences, New York, 1964. The series of events leading to the war is found in the newspaper accounts, principally in the Manila Tribune and the Manila Daily Bulletin. 1940 to 1941, the military side is heavily presented in Louis Morton's The Fall of the Philippines, Washington, 1953. Manuel L. Quezon's The Good Fight, New York and London, 1946. Presents the Filipino viewpoint of the war. Critical accounts of the occupation years are found in Hernando Abaya's Betrayal in the Philippines, New York, 1946. And Eliseo Carino's A Day to Remember, Manila, 1958. A defense of the role of some Filipino officials during the occupation is masterfully presented in Claro M. Recto's 3 Years of Enemy Occupation, The Asia of Political Collaboration in the Philippines, Manila, 1946. The senior author has written a 2-volume work, The Pitfall Years, Japan's Adventure in the Philippines, 1941 to 1945, Quezon City, 1965. George P. Vargas' role during the occupation is presented in Armando G. Malay's Occupied Philippines, Manila, Filipiniana, Book Guild, 1967. Titingnan ko kung alam niyo guys, kung gusto niyo pala magbasa ng iba pang libro, dito kayo pumunta sa references, sa selected references. Ang dami palang libro na sinulat nila. Yung pinagkuhanan ba ng history book na to. So kung gusto niyo magbasa pa ng ibang libro, basahin niyo yung selected references. Chapter 23. Chapter 23. There are several good accounts of the guerrilla warfare in the Philippines. It's recording the events in particular place of area. The story of the guerrillas of Northern Luzon is told in Guerrilla Days in North Luzon, Manila, 1946, and R.W. Boxman, We Remained, New York, 1954. Some guerrilla activities are also recorded in M. Hamlin Cannon's Leyte. The Return to the Philippines, Washington, 1954. Other books dealing with guerrilla activities are Yai Markings, The Crucible, New York, 1950. Ira Wolpert's American Guerrilla in the Philippines, New York, 1945. Edward Haggerty's Guerrilla Padre in Mindanao, New York, and Toronto, 1946. Forbes J. Monaghan's Under the Red Sun, New York, 1946. Joseph F. St. John's Leyte Calling, New York, 1945. And Jose de Dormal's The War in Panay, Manila, 1952. The Odyssey of the Government in Exile is found in Quezon City, Sorry guys ulitin ko. The Odyssey of the Government in Exile is found in Quezon's The Good Fight. Ginawa ko namang lugar siya. Dinugtungan ko kasi ng city. Actually, si President Quezon yan. The Odysseys of the Government in Exile is found in Quezon's The Good Fight. The accounts of the naval battles leading to the liberation of the Philippines are found. Mapapansin nyo guys, yung mga lugar natin sa Pilipinas, pinapangalan kundi sa presidente, sa mga heroes. Napansin nyo yan? Katulad yan, yung EDSA, ano pala yun? Yung kay De Los Santos yan, diba? Nakapangalan. Tapos ito naman yung Quezon City. Obvious naman sa kay President Quezon na nakapangalan, diba? So parang, sinusunod sa mga famous na mga officials nung araw. The accounts of the naval battles leading to the liberation of the Philippines are found in several good official and eyewitness reports. Admiral Frederick C. Sherman's The Battles of the Philippine Sea, The Manila Times, July 14 to August 5, 1947. Fleet Admiral Ernest J. King II Official Report covering Combat Operation March 1, 1945. A separate pamphlet issued by the United States News and Lieutenant Oliver Jensen's Career War, New York, 1945. A rather highly technical account of the naval and land battles is found in its Hamlin Cannon's Leyte. The Return to the Philippines, better and certainly more readable works on the subject are Samuel Eliot Morrison Leyte, June 1944, January 1945, Boston 1958. The Liberation of the Philippines, 1944 to 1945, Boston 1959, and MacArthur's Reminiscences for some documents on Japan's blueprint for the conquest of Southeast Asia. See Harry J. Benda et al. Japanese Military Administration in Indonesia, Yale University, 1965. The Japanese version of the Battle of Leyte's Gulf is found in James A. Field Jr.'s The Japanese at Leyte Gulf, The Shio Operation New Haven, 1947. The American Army's Philippines, both the Leyte Summer and the Manila editions published daily from October 29, 1944 to September 3, 1945 is an important source of information on the events in the Philippines and the world at large during the period. Bukas na tong chapter 14. Gaya natin April 17, 2023. Bye everyone. God bless.